What's the number one challenge when it comes to learning to hold the cello bow consistently? Why is it that it can be so frustrating to hold the bow correctly? I'm going to answer both of those and help you overcome this frustrating challenge. But first, here are the three main ways I teach the bow hold so that we have a foundation for where our hand is supposed to go on the bow. And be sure and download the free guide on my website, thecello.online, that accompanies this video. Number one is thumb, middle finger, drop. Or its more simple title, going through the steps, because that's what we were doing, going through the steps. Most amazing name ever, don't you think? First, say it out loud with me. Thumb, middle finger, drop. While you are following along, hold the bow in your left hand with the frog going to your right, just as you are playing. You can even put the bow on the string. That helps. This will allow your right hand and fingers the freedom to go exactly where they need to. You have to place the thumb and fingers precisely in each step, so let's look at it closer. The thumb goes here, straight into the bow while staying curved. The tip of the thumb literally is pointed at this little crossroads of the stick, the frog, and sometimes the grip, depending on your bow. Double check that your thumb is staying rounded, loose, and supple while doing this. The next step is to place the second finger directly across from the thumb. Just like the left hand, the second finger-thumb relationship is very important. This is what balances the hand. To help with the placement, I like to say, put the second finger on the silver or the ferrule. If you're a fan of the channel and you've seen some of my bow hold videos before, you might remember that I said half on silver, half on hair. Except that when you actually go to pronate the hand into a playing position, pronate meaning roll the hand towards the tip, the second finger really does end up all on the silver. It's not splitting with the hair. I learned that from using this. This is called a tadpole, and I'll put a link to them in the description. They are great for helping with bow holds. The relationship of the thumb and the second finger is the most important part of this. So make sure that they are staying across from each other in relation to each other. Also important with the second finger is that it does not drop below the ferrule or below the silver or bottom side of the bow. A tiny bit would be okay, but we are talking millimeters here. Any kind of substantial placement of the fingers under the bow is going to promote you lifting up and or not controlling it in the way that you need. Even if you don't curve your fingers under, but are holding it here, you are not holding it in the pads of your fingers, which I will explain the importance of later in the video. So let's review, let's discuss what we've done so far with the thumb and the second finger, because going through these steps and going through them really correctly is the thing that is going to help you the most with your bow hold. So here we go. Thumb, go through your checklist. Middle finger, or second finger, across from thumb, go through your checklist. Make sure that the thumb and the second finger are really well placed. The thing that gets students, especially beginners, into trouble is grabbing the bow all at once and trying to find the bow hold in one step. Or even worse, trying to find it one-handed. You have to hold the bow in your left hand and go through the steps. And like I said, even put it on the string, even better, to help you stabilize the bow so that these right hand fingers can go exactly where they need to. And these first two steps are of great importance. Now, step 3 is just drop. That's it. Just drop the rest of the fingers. If you've done the other two correctly and really put your fingers down in a detailed way, the dropping motion should put your hand in a really great bow hold. And remember what we said in step 2 about not going below the frog. If you have done step 1 and 2 correctly, then step 3 should be easy, like I said. When you drop the fingers, the little finger should be flat against the frog, and the index finger should be near the rest of the fingers with a similar shape. Not out here like this. Let's look at the second way I teach the bow hold. It's called the cliffhanger, because that is exactly what it should feel like when you do this exercise. Imagine you are rock climbing and your fingers are holding on. It's the flat, squishy part of your fingers that are in contact. There is no way you would dig your fingers in like this while you were rock climbing, you would fall. And if you held anything else like this, you would drop it, which is why when we hold the bow like this, it's so unstable. It's just not a strong or secure grip. And there is no way you would hold on with just one side of your hand like this. See this one all the time. The most secure grip is to have all of the pads of your fingers on the bow like this, not like this. So here we go. Again, hold the bow in your left hand up in the air and face the hair out away from you directly towards me with the frog on your right side. Take your right hand and hang on the frog with no thumb down below. This is very important. The cliffhanger is all about the four fingers and getting that sensation of holding the bow with the flats of your fingers. Get your fingers as close to position as you possibly can, meaning second finger on the silver, on the ferrule, little finger on the frog, and the other two falling beside them. Because we really are hanging on the bow, it helps to have the bow up in the air a bit so we can get that sensation of hanging. Pull down with the four fingers like you are closing your hand, and do this a few times to engage the squishy part of your fingertip. Now, be careful as we come down to the string. Focus on the sensation you just learned. Keep the flats of your fingers engaged as you turn the bow toward the cello. You might have to adjust slightly to get the fingers back to their exact right spots, but be sure to keep the pads of your fingers working on the bow. Once you feel you have this sensation really locked in place, place your thumb according to what we did in the go through the steps method. Putting that thumb right there in that crook, I sometimes say, where the frog meets the stick. If you did everything correctly, you will notice that the hand is rolled forward and that the bow is hanging in the hand and the hand is hanging from your arm. This is great. This is perfect. You are doing it correctly. Be sure and check yourself in a mirror to make sure you are pronating toward the tip and that the fingers aren't hanging below the bow. Speaking of the hand hanging, this brings us to way number 3, the hand hang. Before we get into that, I promised you some explanations first. The number one challenge for beginners when it comes to bow hold is stopping to go through the steps. Yep, that's it. You have to be proactive, meaning anticipating that things are going to go wrong and that you have to stop and fix them. You have to go through each step in any of these methods. If you don't, if you simply just grab the bow or try to place your fingers all at once, especially one-handed, this is where you get into trouble and form bad habits. The frustration comes and the inconsistency comes when we fail to stop and check often because we think we don't need to, or we forget, or we just think we're being efficient by doing it one-handed. All right, here we go with way number 3. I won't go over the specifics of where each finger goes since we've already done that, so if you need to review those or go back to the earlier parts of the video, especially if you find this way helpful. This is why I present the bow hold in several ways. Everyone is different, and one of these might click more than the others. That's awesome. That's a win-win in my book. Just make sure you are placing your fingers correctly while you are doing it. Take your right hand and let it completely hang. Dead weight, like a floppy fish, I like to say. Yes, show me your floppy fish. In order for the hand to do this, the elbow will have to support it because the hand will have to have something to hang from. While the hand is hanging in the bow path, all right, sometimes it's helpful to make the OK sign here with your index finger and thumb, and maybe place this, okay, against the C string, just to remind ourselves where the bow path is, all right? So I'm really hanging in the bow path here. Then take the bow in your left hand and place it in the right hand, making sure to check all the points of contact. And adjust your right hand fingers accordingly. The tendency when using the hand hang here is to grab the bow and then immediately revert back to old habits like straightening our wrist. Make sure you maintain the curve from your arm to your fingers and after you take hold of the bow. Like I mentioned before, it's not a one and done. You have to stop often and check to make sure you are maintaining the bow hold and the correct hand position. Remember to try all of this on a regular basis, and then if one of them becomes your go-to, that is awesome. Like I said, I have 3 ways because one of them might click more than the others. Use the one that works the best for you. And if you like using all 3, then you're in my camp because I like lots of different ways all the time. I need lots of different ways on a regular basis. And once you have a really good handle on the bow hold, you may be wanting to focus on getting a better tone when you're actually putting the bow on the string and trying to get more arm weight into the bow. And I have a video to help with that right here.